Hi everybody and welcome to the Truck King YouTube channel. For 2021, General Motors has fully redesigned its full-size SUVs, and to say this is a big deal is an understatement. GM owns over half the full-size SUV market in the United States and here in Canada, and when it comes to this redesign, they really put a lot into it. So in this video, we're going to take this GMC Yukon AT4 and tow that big travel trailer. We're going to put the air suspension to the test, the magnetic ride control, that new independent rear suspension, and we will let you know how this big SUV tows that trailer. Let's get started with the walk around, everybody. First, we got to talk about the engine. So this is the standard engine in the Yukon AT4. It's a 5.3 liter V8 making 355 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque, and now hooked up to a 10-speed automatic transmission. Now, you can get the 6.2 in this package if you want it, but one thing of note, no diesel. You can't get that 3-liter diesel in the AT4 or in the Tahoe Z71, but every other Yukon you can get the diesel. So all you off-roaders, sorry, no diesel. Now, off-road is the whole reason why the AT4 exists, and you can see the difference here on the nose. You get a unique grille, but then the big changes are down here. You get a unique fascia. This is giving you a 32-degree approach angle, plus you're getting red tow hooks and a skid plate up front there, so when you smash into things, it's going to protect your vehicle. And the other thing that's really coming to play off-road with the AT4 now is air suspension. So the air suspension, you can see it working here, has a full 4 inches of range, so you can drop the vehicle down by 2 inches, or you can raise it all the way up by 2 inches. And of course, when you're off-road, ground clearance is important. The next thing I have to highlight on this package are these tires. This is a set of Goodyear Wrangler Trail Runner all-terrains. Now, this is not as aggressive as something like the Goodyear Wrangler DuraTrack that you get on a lot of GM off-roaders, but this tire is imperceptible on the highway, basically no road noise whatsoever. And then if you do go off-road, it's going to be better than just your standard all-season tire. And of course, because this is a Yukon and they're looking for style, that is a set of 20-inch wheels. Now you might be asking yourself, what's the difference between this Yukon AT4 and the brand new Tahoe Z71 or Z71? And let me first say there's really not a lot of differences. These two SUVs are very similar. One of the biggest differences I've heard of so far is actually the rear differential. So with the Tahoe, Chevy uses the G80 rear locker. That's an automatic rear locking differential. The second there's some slip, that thing's going to lock up. Here in the GMC, they've actually gone with an electronic limited slip differential. Now the difference is it can send power left to right, but the actual locking engagement here when it's sending power to both wheels is going to be much smoother than the G80. And GMC actually told me this is what they went with because the customer who buys the GMC, they want that nice smooth engagement of the all-wheel drive back here. They don't want the G80, which really does go ka-chunk and locks into place. So that was a really interesting decision, I thought, that they went with this ELSD on the GMCs and not on the Chevys. Stepping inside this, which is the 5th generation of GM's full-size SUVs, the changes to the interior are obvious and they're huge. Inside here is a really nice place to be. Here on our AT4, we get this nice accent stitching, we get AT4 badging, and the one thing I really like is, again, attention to detail. You get this different kind of carbon fiber look material outlined by this nice chrome. GM, you can really see they put the time into this interior, and visually it's just nicely broken up. Overall, it looks great. I really don't have any complaints. There's a party trick in this interior too. Check this one out. You reach up and there goes the whole center console. So the console is actually powered. If you slide it all the way back like that, you get this big, huge space here. You get a little storage cubby there. And then if you still want your armrest, it still pulls forward like that. The other advantage is your rear seat passengers now have their cup holders right at their legs. All their controls are closer. So this thing is pretty cool. The one other thing, though, I have to point out about the interior of the Yukon, and this is the first time they've ever done this, the Denali has a unique interior. Here it is right here, and you can see it's not the same as the AT4, but this isn't just, you know, materials and colors. The actual dash is different. The screen isn't sticking out like it is here on the AT4. It's much more flush. So you can really see GMC has realized that Denali is such a strong sub-brand that it needed to be unique. And they've done that now. And I bet that that's going to happen to more Denali models throughout the GMC lineup. But overall, the interior is great, but that Denali interior is really great. What can this Yukon tow? Well, General Motors puts its handy dandy trailering sticker here on the door jamb. Let the camera adjust, and there it is. So conventional trailer, we're good for 8,100 pounds. And I love these trailering information stickers, and I really appreciate that GM puts them on the SUVs as well as the trucks. And what are we pulling? Well, this is the Keystone Bullet, and I'll show you the weights right here. Unloaded vehicle weight, 6,100 pounds, while our gross vehicle weight rating, GVWR, comes in at 7,600. Now today this trailer is totally empty, so we're probably pretty close to that 6,100 number. Now let's go see how she pulls. All right, we're backing into our trailer, so let's put her in reverse, and we can look at the camera system. Now here comes a situation where using the airbags can really help. So you'll see our hitch ball. If you lower the truck, you're able to drop it underneath your hitch pin there, and now Dad can back up and put it right underneath there. And I mean, in this situation, sure, we could have just raised the trailer up, but there's some situations where that's not really an option, or you're at an awkward angle. So having that air suspension can also be handy for hooking up. And now Dad can even put the truck back into normal mode. And if you watch, that hitch will come all the way up right into that coupler. Nicely done, Yukon. Okay, so now we're gonna lift up that foot, and I'll show you the next advantage to having air suspension. So you can see the Yukon squatting now. There's the air, just kicked in. Wow, she's really squatting. Okay, the foot's lifting. Now let's watch the air do its thing. Here we go.
It's right there.
That was a significant amount of squat.
Yeah.
And the truck just totally got rid of it. Raised up the back end, and our rig is sitting pretty flat. Well, now we'll see how she tows. Okay, we're out here on the road now. We've got our big old travel trailer hooked up back there. And I think the first thing we should talk about is, you guys saw it there with the air suspension. That's one of the absolute best things about the air suspension, is once you drop weight on the back, those rear airbags are gonna bring that back end up until your vehicle is sitting nice and level. And it's not totally replacing an equalizing hitch, but it is definitely sort of helping the fact that we don't have an EQ hitch on back there. Because this thing really squatted quite a bit, more than I expected actually. But once the airbags pumped it up, it looks really, really good. And from over here, it feels pretty good as well. We're definitely, you know, pushing this rig, but you're driving, Dad. What are your butt sensors telling you?
It's handling the weight, so give or take 6,500 pounds. To your point, the air suspension, it's beautiful the way it levels it out. However, it does not take the place of an equalizing hitch. We have a little bit of a breeze today, and this trailer's got a big front end, so it's twitchy. I can feel it. And I'd want to have that equalizing hitch on here just to stiffen up that hitch connection, because it is banging around a little bit, and we've had a couple of tractor trailers go by and you feel the shudder. Past that, integrated trailer brake controller, you gotta have that at these weights. It sets up real nice, works decent. And the only other thing is these mirrors. These mirrors are fine if you're not towing. However, if you're gonna tow, you're gonna need mirror extensions. I can't see down the side of the trailer, and that's a no-no. Not just from a safety point of view, but it's illegal.
Yeah, and you'd think with such big weights on the SUVs, they would, you know, pull those towing mirrors off the truck and offer them over here, but that's not something they do. So yes, you got to hit up the aftermarket if you want to get proper mirrors.
Yeah, an extendable mirror would be the right way to go here. However, now you're gonna have to use those clip-ons.
So the other thing we can talk about is we recently tested a Chevy Tahoe RST here on the channel. You might have seen it. If not, go watch that video after this video. In that Chevy, we had the regular suspension setup, if you want to call it that, or the passive suspension setup. Whereas here in this AT4, we have two different things. We have airbags, but we also have magnetic ride control. And the short version of that is just the shocks are constantly adjusting their damping force. So it's reading the road, and it is continually changing how stiff the truck is. And I can feel the difference from over here, where that Chevy would hit a pothole and you could feel that stiffness, that harshness. This truck doesn't have it, and I'd say it's good and bad. I would say the ride is definitely better than the Tahoe, super smooth, but on the downside, a little floaty, a little imprecise. Do you kind of feel that too, where because the suspension's not kind of hard hitting, you just don't have that really kind of solid feel for it?
All I gotta say to that is it's what you're used to. And I mean, I've been driving you know, tractor trailers with airbags for 40 years, and it's something you feel, and real soon you just go, yeah, okay, that's the way it feels, because you still have the control, and there's enough stiffness, particularly when it gets down near the bottom. The nice thing is that they don't bottom out. They don't bottom out. You don't get the big smack.
Absolutely not. And like I said, you know, just cruising down the highway, no doubt that this trailer is way, or this Yukon, I should say, is more comfortable than that Tahoe with just the steel suspension. Just walking to do a drive-by over here, everybody, and look behind that horse. Beautiful Bronco there, man. Always gotta love that car spotting. And outside of car spotting, we're also doing some sightseeing today. The fall colors are arriving in Ontario, probably about another 2 weeks maybe, and they'll be peak, but man, it's beautiful out here today. Another thing I have to talk about is the head-up display here. Now, this is not unique to the Yukon. It's in quite a few GM products. Actually, the 2021 Ram 1500 just added a head-up display too, so people are paying attention around the industry, and it's incredible. It's incredible when you don't have a trailer on. It's just great to have the information right there. You don't need to look around for it. But I would actually say when you're towing, it's that much more useful because you just have one big thing to focus on. It's behind you. You want to make sure your trailer is solid, you're not following too closely. Towing adds a whole nother level of complexity to driving, and having something like a head-up display, keeping my speeds right there, easy for me to see, yeah, it just makes a big difference. Just one less little piece of stress.
There is a reason that they use them in fighter aircraft.
Exactly.
That guy has got a lot going on. So anytime you can look straight through your windshield, not take your eyes off the road, and yet still get information through your peripheral vision, I get it.
So we showed you guys the cameras when we were backing in, but let me show you while you're on the move, you can hit that camera button, you get this close-up look, you'll see you get a countdown up there too, but look, there's more than one view. You also get this zoomed out view, and you can even get your nose view as well, and each one will only last for that 8 seconds, and then it's gonna go away. I love that GM gives you the options to have these views, especially the rear view, because then you can actually look at your hitch, you can look at the connection, or if you have a flat deck trailer, which we normally have, you can look at what's on your flat deck. So yeah, just more camera views is always a good thing, and there's a lot here in the Yukon. Now, powering our Yukon today is the standard engine you get in the AT4. That's a 5.3 liter V8. Of course, you can step up to that big monstrous 6.2. We love that engine, got loads of power, but this is the bread and butter engine in GM's lineup. This is the volume V8. This is, you know, the engine they sell the most of. And you know what? Let me put my foot into it here real quick. You know what? it's just enough power for this trailer. I'd say if you were gonna go heavier, you wouldn't wanna go much heavier anyway, but if you're gonna go, you'd wanna maybe step up to 6.2. But yeah, I don't know, I feel like this 5.3 is well matched to this trailer. It pulls it with pretty good authority. And then the 10-speed automatic, butter smooth shifts, imperceptible is the best word you can use. You do not notice this 10-speed going about its business, and that's the best thing you can say for a transmission. If you're noticing the transmission, it's doing something wrong. But here, yeah, I don't notice it at all. Any thoughts on the powertrain?
5.3's long serving, and one of the things you want in automotive is consistent history. You know, if you're buying a 5.3, you're getting an engine that's had 10 million copies out there working year in and year out. You can feel good about it.
Here's some more car spotting in this video. Look at this weird thing. Definitely homemade. Huh, weird. And if you're looking at me right now saying, please show us the back seats, show us the storage, show us the rear infotainment system, I did all of that in my latest Tahoe review, so I'll throw a card to that review up there in the corner right now. Click on that link and go watch the Tahoe review to see everything going on in the back. My last point, I've gotten rid of the trailer, I've gotten rid of Dad, now I'm just driving here empty in the Yukon, and I'm actually returning it right now. And I just want to say that while you're driving empty, this thing is basically floating down the road. The combination of magnetic ride and air suspension means that any rough, uneven, broken pavement, potholes, divots, train tracks, it just absolutely swallows them up. You're so insulated in here from what's going on underneath you, and that's a good thing. It just adds to the overall feeling of calm and luxury that you get from this GMC while you're driving it. So yes, if you spend your money to upgrade your suspension and get all of the technology you can, it's going to be a better tow rig, but then just day to day, it's going to drive that much nicer. Let's quickly walk through the build and price tool so you can see how much this Yukon costs. So first of all, we're doing Canadian pricing. This is the two-wheel drive SLE, that's the base model. So in Canada, this monster starts at $62,998, and that is including destination and that air conditioning charge. Now, let's build our SUV. So of course, that's going to be four-wheel drive, and it was an AT4 with that standard 5.3 liter V8 engine. Now moving on, we'll leave it in Summit White. You can see all the colors there. Most of them are pay for options. This package includes everything you're going to need for both off-roading and trailering. Trailer brake controller, trailering system, the max trailering package, the trailer side blind zone alert, the HD surround vision, so all those camera views, the head-up display. Really, you're getting a ton of stuff with this premium package. You're also paying nearly $10,000 for it. Now we keep on moving down. We can see the illumination package. That is pretty cool, but no, we're not going to pick it. Anything else on the exterior? No thank you. Interior, we're already pretty well loaded up. We can get a couple different things, but we don't want any of that stuff. Bringing our summary to a net price of $89,493. Now we've come over to GMC.com and gotten off GMC.ca so we can get US pricing. So looking at the two-wheel drive SLE, once again the base model, this Yukon starts at $51,995. Now we can build our AT4. You add four-wheel drive. Once again, it comes with that standard V8 engine, and that brings the price to the AT4 in the United States to $66,995. Well, let's just add on that one premium package. That brings everything you're going to need, and that brings our as-tested price in the US to $74,240. So how has the redesign of this hugely important SUV gone? Well, by my estimation, very well. Basically, this new Yukon just offers more of everything it used to. More space for passengers, more space for cargo, and more trailering capacity than ever before. And for a big SUV like this, those are all good things. So everybody, that is it for this video. Why don't you go below, leave us a comment, let us know what you think of the new Yukon, the AT4, this beautiful travel trailer back here. By the way, if you want to know know more about that travel trailer, stay tuned to the channel because a full walk around video is coming. Now don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, and then come right back here to Truck King to see what we're testing next.